you're in this season of growing your team. Do you have anything that you kind of keep in mind that would maybe like serve someone listening who's looking to build out a team to keep it with like A players?
My strategy has always been see if there's an initial vibe, see if you think they could do the job, see if they'll do it within your price range. And if those things are yeses, give it a try, make it a non-committal thing, like a month-to-month thing. And if it works, great, you'll grow together. And if it doesn't work, quickly fire them and hire somebody to replace them before you fire them.
Jesse Solomon, thank you so much for being on Coffee and a Good Vibe. It's such a pleasure to have you.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. You know, you do a lot of things.
Yeah, I was surprised, by the way, that there was no coffee.
I know, I'm like
entry.
Literally roasted for that. You know, filming these in LA, a lot of people don't drink coffee.
What?
And then when I do it
LA?
at my place, like at my spot, I have coffee, I have matcha, I have the options. But here, a lot of people, when I've done it, people say I don't want it.
I think you just need to drink coffee to live in New York.
I agree.
Because it's that intense.
How do you take your coffee, and where's your favorite coffee shop in New York?
That's a good one. There's a place right across the street from me.
Okay.
Well, there's one, Oslo is pretty good. And then this one's called like Three Harvest in Williamsburg. And it's only open Thursday to Sunday.
Shit.
And the guy likes me and he makes really good pastries. I usually go hot coffee, splash of regular milk, and 1 stevia.
It's so particular. Never iced. I'm always iced. And it sucks because when I'm freezing, I'm like, I don't have to get my ice.
When it's hot like today and I'm schwitzing, I do get ice.
Yeah, there you go. And that is not your order, right? That's a...
No, that's splash of milk and a stevia.
Oh.
Just iced.
Are you never like a latte kind of guy?
It's just not. It's a lot of calories for the amount better than it is
totally.
than a iced coffee.
Okay, we're so going into all of your diet, nutrition, all that. I'm like so excited to dive in with that with you.
Okay, cool.
But let's go back. Who is Jesse Solomon to the people who may not know who you are?
Hi, Jesse Solomon. I am a nice Jewish boy from Chicago, north suburbs, Wilmette. I went to New Trier, if anybody is familiar with the area. And I went to University of Miami in Florida. I studied vocal jazz performance.
Wow.
And I studied music business. And I lived in New York after school for 5 years. I lived in Miami for a couple, and now I've just kind of been back and forth, Miami, New York, bouncing around careers, trying to make it happen.
Yeah, and you are making it happen for sure, which I'm excited to chat about. But going back, so a lot of people might know you from Summer House, but previous to that, you have so much experience working so many different jobs. And I would love for you to kind of like share your professional work experience and all that, because I think there's so much value even in that whole journey of how you got into that.
Yeah. I wanted to be in the music business.
Mm-hmm.
I sang every day of college, but I thought I would go into a career path where I had more control over the amount of success I was going to have.
Yeah.
And it at the time was not very important to me to like be a recording artist and be on stage, and that didn't sound so attractive to me. So I was like, let me try to be a music agent. And I got my dream job at William Morris in the mailroom, and my first boss ended up becoming my business partner.
Which is wild.
Yeah, I started a company with him. But first, we had a department at WME doing brand licensing deals within the music department. So everybody else was trying to sign like Drake and Adele. And we were like, we have Harry Potter live in concert. But it was a really popular show, and I got to travel the world, and I still got all the perks of being in the music department. Wow. Like I was going to Coachella, Artist Pass, and Ultra.
How old were you at the time?
I was my first year out of college. I went from like front right of main stage in the crowd to like on stage with Fiesta the next year at Ultra. I was like, this is amazing.
Wow.
And I could have spent my whole career there and just kind of like, we carved out this nice little niche. But my business partner had been doing it for a lot longer than me. He was quite bored.
Mhm.
And he was like, let's go try to become billionaires. And we were so successful at
Yeah.
WME that I was like, I could do this.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it. It was
Oh.
really hard.
Then where did that lead you after, like, you're like, not this path?
Yeah, so we started a company. We named it Mickey after Mickey Mouse, which was the most licensed. It is the most licensed brand in the world. And it was supposed to be a brand licensing platform connecting manufacturers of all different types of stuff,
Okay.
food and beverage, digital, fashion brands, whatever, to brand owners. So we were doing this in the entertainment space, and we thought we could kind of digitize it and make it easy for people to connect online. Two-sided marketplaces are very difficult. There were a lot of reasons why it was just not going to work. So we pivoted a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Long story short, we ended up selling logs to people in India and Pakistan and China. And I learned a lot.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I had like no experience in finance or commodities or technology. And I was like raising money for a company that did all of those things.
Wow.
So I really had to kind of grow up fast and learn how to pitch investors and create all the materials. And I got rejected hundreds of times. We would joke that we could create like a coffee table book of like the best venture capitalist bathrooms in New York City because we'd been to everyone's office and peed.
You clearly have like this mentality though, where you can go into any room and I think you could sell anything if you believe in it, and I think you can be so adaptable to any experience environment you're in.
Yeah, I actually have networked my way into jobs that I was so underqualified for.
Oh, tell us about that. How? What is the secret sauce? Because someone listening might see you and be like, damn, I wish I had that. Because honestly, like, I know I just met you being so close with your manager, Nikki. Like, I hear that you have this ability to, like, go somewhere and then people just gravitate towards you. It's like, what do you think? Have you always been like that as a kid?
Yeah, I think I've always had kind of that goofy nature.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just starts with being a genuine person and caring about what
Yeah.
you do and caring about others. And after Mickey, I divorced my business partner amicably. We're still
Mm-hmm.
best friends. And I had a couple jobs in finance, but they weren't the right fit. I networked my way into like a big investment banking job in New York City as a vice president.
Wow. Vice
Um,
president right away.
yeah, just
Start there.
just no experience. And like got the job. Then they're like, oh, you don't have your Series 7 license and your Series 63 and you're like all these things. And I was like, no. And they're like, okay, you have to pass these tests within a month. Like these are tests that everybody else passes their first year out of
Yeah.
college. They're not easy tests, but like people pass them for the most part. And I had to like really study. And I was also doing the job.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, basically a friend of a friend knew one of the head guys and I got connected to the CEO. I basically said, oh, I'm going to be in New York if the CEO wants to meet with me. I had no plans to be in New York, but
Yeah.
that's just like my thing that I always do if I want to meet with people in person. It's just like, I'm going to be there.
I do that too.
Yeah. So that's the move if you're looking to get a job. And I sit down with the guy and, you know, Jewish guy, just start kibitzing. And he liked me right away.
Question for you. When you
Yeah.
go into these like new meetings and you shoot your shot, do you like do any back end research before? Are you like, okay, this is
Oh,
what
yeah.
that, yeah? And then you
Yeah.
find something common to like connect with them on, then you go and lead with that.
Yeah, like I knew he was going to be interviewing me, but I had an idea in my head of how I wanted the conversation to go.
Yeah.
And I think you just have to come prepared for what he's going to ask you, but also ask him things. Like people love
You like
talking
flip
about,
it on
yeah,
them. You're like, I'm gonna take the pressure off me. I'm gonna
Yeah,
back on him.
I just made it a conversation.
Yeah.
And I learned about his kids, and his kid was going to music school, and I had gone to music school, and we just
Wow.
connected like that. So I think, and he just saw that like this was a sales job, like it was institutional fundraising for
Yeah.
private equity firms, and he saw that I could connect with those types of people. Or so he thought, because that job also did not work out.
Then what happened?
Then I got a job at Chicago Atlantic, which is another publicly traded firm. That investment banking job was under the umbrella of PNC Bank. And then Chicago Atlantic as the largest lenders to the cannabis industry. I was on the investor relations team there. And that was a little less formal, you could say.
Yeah.
It was kind of like just raise money however you can. Like at PNC, it was, anywhere from $5 to $100 million checks, 100 million plus. And Chicago Atlantic, I was focused on like $50K to $1 million, $2 million checks. So just kind of a different investor group, traveling all over, meeting people at conferences, just more hustling. And then the show came out and they didn't want to have a relationship with me anymore.
How did that opportunity come about with the show? Was it something, because I think a lot of people, I know people on both sides, like especially with my audience, like there are founders who work a job and they want this other kind of opportunity. They're like desiring something like that. And being on a show, on any show, especially with like reality TV, they are very particular about who they would want. And it's almost like not a 1 in a million, but it is like not an easy thing to land.
Yeah.
So how did you think you brought that on? Are you a manifester? Did you manifest something
At the
like
time, I was not a manifester.
Are you now?
I don't practice it often, but when I do, it feels
it's magic.
It feels quite nice. I had met Kyle.
Yeah.
And then one of the producers, a casting director, hit me up on LinkedIn. And they said, we think you'd be a good fit for one of our
And they met you and they were
shows
sold. Because you walked into that and you connected with them and then...
Yeah, this is June 14th and we start filming July 2nd. So my first interaction with production was June 14th. We just had Zoom call. They offered it to me. My family was like, you're not going to do this, right? And I was like, haha. Yeah, I think yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. And originally my boss was cool with it and then it didn't end up being a fit. I filmed the whole show. The show airs. I part ways with Chicago Atlantic in October. And then I did get another finance job, kind of more working for myself. Connecting businesses with capital. Outside of like traditional bank financing. And I've said on a couple podcasts that I got fired and then people just like cut out the rest. And then the headlines are like, Jesse Solomon gets fired. Now he's just a bum.
I did see that actually online.
Like, there were so many things. Everybody's sending me. They're like, you don't have a job? I was like, no, I have a new job. They just didn't include that.
Yeah. And people like, whatever's. Facts are straight here.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to care because I'm like living my best life.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful for all the things that I'm doing. But yeah, I should have seen that coming and I didn't.
But anyone who like looks you up and sees what you're doing, they're like, he's thriving.
Yeah, I just don't publicize it a lot because it's like the attention I'm getting from the show doesn't really go hand in hand with like the work that I'm doing in finance.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I want to go into this like your ability to like kind of attract anything you want, because I think it's such a beautiful place to be in and operate in. And I interviewed this entrepreneur and his name is Sahil Bloom. I don't know if you've heard of him. He was like big in the finance space and then started building his own personal brand and that's like taken off. Anyway, he calls it increasing your luck surface area. It's almost like when you put yourself in places to win. So he would go work out at like 5 a.m. at like the Equinox in a certain area in New York City because he's like, oh, that's when you meet people who are like in the space that he wanted to be in, like CEOs and stuff. I feel like you do this naturally.
Yeah, my dad always says luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So
that's a good one.
I just kind of think I was working hard, putting myself out there, doing all the right things so that when an opportunity like this came up, I was ready to. I mean, Summer House is a weird one. Like, what did I do? Like, be myself and like, yeah,
But
I guess
I
I did.
also believe, like, I'm all about, like, it's coffee and a good vibe. I'm always like, your vibe attracts your tribe. Like, when you're operating from, like, a high vibrational state and you are, like, someone who's, like, really nurturing, like, your positive mental state,
Mm-hmm.
you attract in better opportunities. Like, when you're in a bad mood, right, you attract things that are of that vibration.
Yeah.
Versus, like, when you are, like, someone who's, like, bubbly and happy. Like, you probably attract in, like, the best people around you. And then the best experiences, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I think I showed up to Summer House thinking it was going to be everybody was my best friend, and
Yeah.
it was a little bit of a rocky start, but then they ended up liking me. I think originally, they bring people onto the show and they don't know if they're going to stick, and
Do they just cut you?
they'll just cut you if you don't get along with everyone. So I kind of had to make friends, and I
Yeah.
did, and then by the end everybody liked me.
Are you so grateful for that move? Was that, like, would you say, like, so far one of your best decisions thus far?
Yeah, I would say I've had a lot of success within my various careers
Yeah.
and jobs, but nothing felt right. Like, I always had this kind of thing in the back of my head that was like, you're not on the right path. Like, what should you be doing? I would see career coaches. I would talk to my friends and whoever I'm dating and my family. Like, this was constantly a battle. And now I finally feel like I'm doing the right things. And it's fun now because I get to figure out my path,
Yeah.
but I'm at least on the right path. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Like,
no, that makes so much sense.
I
And
have
you
to
feel so in
navigate it.
alignment with what you're doing.
Yeah, I have to navigate it and make the right decisions, but I'm
Yeah.
at least in the right ballpark. I'm playing
Yeah.
the right sport.
I love that.
Yeah.
You've talked about this within your journey of, like, battling cancer. Can you open up about that? Like, when did you find out when you got diagnosed?
I was diagnosed for the first time in 2017.
You're also very young.
Yeah, I was
Like,
24 at the time.
how did you even know to, like?
I just went for a physical. I'd been
Okay.
living in New York for 2 years, and I was like, let me just get a physical. My mom would tell me to go to the doctor every year.
That's such a
not-
blessing.
Yeah. And the doctor was like, I don't think this is anything, but just go get an ultrasound to double check.
Yeah.
And I was traveling for work. I went to Taiwan and Australia, and I got back and I was like, I should probably get that ultrasound. And I went and they called me back right away. And I was like, that's not good.
What was your innate reaction when you found out?
Just very scared.
Yeah.
I now know that early stage testicular cancer is highly treatable. But at the time I was like, cancer?
Yeah. Was your family very, like, reactive, or were they just very?
I think my mom kind of put on a good face,
Yeah.
but she was not sleeping well, and my family's very supportive. I'm very blessed to have them. And they would come. I didn't want to change up my life too much, so I stayed in New York for treatment because Sloan Kettering is like, one of the best hospitals in the world. So they came to me, and I'm just lucky that they were there for me and supportive. And it was just like, the first time I just had a surgery, and then it came back a year later, and I needed 4 rounds of chemo. And
Wow.
that's when my family was there for me both times,
Yeah.
obviously.
Was it easy? Nothing's easy, especially in this, like going through this type of life adversity and, like, curveball. But you obviously chose a super positive and resilient response. And I think anyone listening, no matter, like, what the context of the situation is, could be going through something that's super dark in a time that's, like, sometimes you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And, like, even with you, like, beat it and then it came back. But you have this, like, beautiful, positive, like, energy and way of, like, approaching life. How did you become that way?
I have no idea.
It's like,
I think the first time around, cancer kind of taught me you really just don't know what anybody else is going through.
yeah.
Like, I remember after the surgery, I was trying to walk through the streets of New York.
Mhm.
And I was like, wow, if I could get mugged and I would not be able to defend myself right now. Like, but I looked totally normal. Like, I just had a hole in my stomach and one of my
Yeah.
nuts had just been ripped out. but
Ah.
but I was totally fine otherwise. And then the second time, I think, yeah, I just life is a beautiful thing. You know, it's all the cheesy stuff that you hear about,
Yeah.
you know, near death or things that just put things into something that can put things into perspective for you.
Mm.
So I just appreciate the small stuff now. It's just hard to care about literally anything because I'm healthy and I have my friends and my family.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody else really thinks.
I love that so much.
Yeah, that's all you can do is just be yourself, be positive, and make lemonade
Truly.
out of them
Put
lemons.
that on your merch.
Yeah.
I truly, like, I feel that's so hard. Like, my dad got really sick. He got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And after so many rounds of chemo and, like, going through that whole journey, our whole family looks back and we're like, this was the most, as much as it's the most traumatizing and you don't wish this experience on anyone, because even, like, your loved ones, like, I can only imagine your parents, like, their son going through this,
Yeah.
it affects everyone. But then your perspective at the end of it, nothing, the trivial shit, like, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it probably is so helpful with everything happening in your life now with, like, you know, being in the limelight. I think that your influence is truly growing every day, right? Like, every single day you're just probably, you go on your Instagram and it's like, boom, like, just like more eyes on you. And I feel like this whole journey of your life and season, it probably puts, like, the most armor on you because you're kind of, like, untouchable on the interior.
Yeah. Yeah, I think having cancer was one of the best things that ever happened to me in a sick and twisted way. I think nobody wants to hear negative things about themselves. Like, the human brain is just not wired to read negative comments on the internet. So I just try not to read those as much as possible. And any that I do read, I'm just like, oh, I probably wouldn't be friends with that person anyways. They must suck if they don't like me. I'm great. You know, like, that's my mentality. And so I'm hoping that it doesn't get worse at any point, but I'm hoping it just gets better.
Well, if you have that attitude too, you're
Yeah.
bulletproof. No
Yeah.
one's gonna come after you.
Yeah, well, people probably think I'm, like, you know, cocky or whatever. I love myself too much, but, like, you should love yourself more.
Yeah. How would you say to someone listening to strengthen that? Like, because I think that hinders people in so many ways of, like, caring about what other people think. Like, if it's someone listening and they're wanting to build a personal brand online, or, like, honestly, like, quitting their job and starting a business that they've always wanted to start, but people are so afraid of failure. They're afraid of, like, other people's opinions, and it holds people back from, like, living their best life, like Jesse Solomon.
Yeah.
So what would you say, or do you have any advice that you would give, almost like to your, like, younger self? Even?
Yeah, I would just say work harder. I wouldn't quit your job until you have something else working.
Yeah.
But yeah, just believe in yourself. You know, highlight your good qualities and work on your bad ones. Go to therapy, make new friends, do activities, work out. Like, just do the little things. And those are, like, the sweetest parts of life anyways.
I know, it's so true. Jesse, the motivational speaker.
I love a pep talk. Like, when I get a cameo,
I love that.
when it's like pep talk, like my brother's about to go through chemo or something, I'm like, listen up, Robert.
I love that so much. And it's like, I feel like you probably felt that too with growing your platform and then also using your platform to be a voice for that as well. You probably received so much love. And there's always, like, negative people, but like you said, it's like you just don't focus on that.
Yeah, maybe I should start doing motivational pep
I
talk
honestly
stuff
think it
on
should be
my
a
Instagram.
highlight on your
Yeah.
Instagram, and they could be like the perfect like 15, just short. You don't want to have,
Short, yeah.
and then people can click one and then they're all there.
Yeah, that's something that you shouldn't do on Instagram unless you already have a following. Like, I feel like people will love it, but if I was just screaming at my phone, being like, "Go work out,"
You should have a
you'll feel better
hashtag,
for doing it. Like, people will be like, "Screw you, man."
but you can do that, and people will be like,
Yeah,
"Yes,
now people will be
I'm
like, "Okay,
listening."
he's right."
Okay, personal brand, Jess. Your brand is growing rapidly. We have your manager in the house, Nikki.
Nikki in the house.
I know Nikki's got to come in here and like she'll maybe drop some value. But what are you personally like super excited about with the direction of all the growth you're experiencing and like business moving forward for you?
Yeah, a lot.
A
Is
lot.
the
Tell
short
us.
answer.
Tell us.
I think it starts with the show. Like,
Yeah.
I've invested my energy into the show because I know that all these opportunities come out of that.
Yeah.
And, different people have different levels of commitment to the show. And I'm super committed. I don't do anything that I wouldn't do in normal life, but like I prioritize my life around the filming schedule because I have a lot of other things going on, and I just make sure that I'm on time and, not hungover and things like that for filming. Beyond that, the stuff that's come rushing in are the brand deals.
Yeah. Are you fulfilled by that? What brands are hyping you up right now?
I think at first I was super excited about it. I was excited about any brand that wanted to work with me.
Yeah.
Now there are so many, and I'm so blessed
Yeah.
that, I mean, the money is real from these brand deals, and now I feel lucky that I get to be a little bit more selective and only make sure I'm working with brands that I use the product or
Totally.
want to use the product. And like we just got a super exciting partnership that we probably can't talk about yet, but like it's super on brand for me and goes with my cancer story and like I think could actually help people. So like
Wow.
the fact that I get paid to talk about that stuff is like I will never stop being appreciative of that. But now that I have the brand stuff happening in the background and Nikki just kind of like handles that part of my life, like the brand deals are actually more work than I thought. I thought it was
Really?
just post about a freaking tooth whitener and all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're rich. Like,
There's
no,
like rounds of approval, legal,
yeah.
NDAs, non-compete.
Yeah, so like I didn't know that, and one time Nikki just like beat my ass because I like went to an event and got drunk, and she was like, "Where are the stories that you have to post? Like you have to age gate them, you have to hashtag them, and I was like, "Oh, I thought we would just do that tomorrow."
And it was like in real time. What happened then?
It worked out. I mean, Nikki did it.
Yeah, I know. As a manager, I always am like, their content performs better the next day, actually.
Yeah.
So we thought we would post it the next morning.
Yeah, Nikki and my
Find an
social girl
excuse, yeah.
like saved the day. But it was like a wake-up call that like it's not just free money. Like you actually have to do a good job for the brands if people are going to want to work with you in the future. So the brand stuff's all happening, and now I'm focusing my attention more on music. I'm recording music, which is really exciting.
What kind of music? What genre?
So I'm doing a few different things, and I'm seeing what people respond to and also what I enjoy doing. I just started working with some producers in Brooklyn,
Cool.
and we're just going to write a song and record it the last week of August that I think will be like, I want it to be high energy, kind of like pop, but have some soul, have some funk, and kind of just like be a representation of me as an artist. I'm doing some jazz standards because I sound really good on those, in my humble opinion. So maybe like a Sinatra tune with my producer in Miami. And then I have an original that some other writers wrote, and I'm just gonna be I'm gonna produce it with my guy in Miami. Change the song up a little bit. It's called Lightning. I don't know if that name will stick, but Yeah, so a few different things, which I'm really excited about. I wrote a song yesterday with my friend. I'll put it on
Wow.
TikTok tomorrow or something, and just like I want music. I think will
You're
be a.
very creative.
I, I'm creative. I'm pretty creative. Like I have ideas.
Yeah.
I need a team to help me flesh them out, and we've actually like
Totally.
built a really kick-ass team that's been like working together, and like we've just built our own little business over here.
How
Like
does it feel to like be starting your own empire and business, but it all's like around you? Like
yeah,
that's
you
its
have
own
to
brand and name.
yeah, you have to zoom out and try not to become a narcissist. But like
Be a good
everything
team around you. You get
yeah,
checked all the time.
well like everything is about me in
Yeah.
business, so I'm starting to get frustrated talking just about like summer house with people. Like I need to be mentally stimulated, and like at first I love talking about summer house, and now
Yeah.
when people just like press me about it, sometimes I like it and sometimes I'm just like, can we talk about you? And they're like, I'm boring, and I'm like, well, it's not boring for me.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about you. So that's been a change of pace. But yeah, I just hired an assistant, which has been
That's
like
gonna change your life.
life-changing.
It's
Yeah.
gonna change your life.
Yeah, luckily I have
Are you good at
started
delegating?
I am good at
Okay, that's
delegating.
good.
I think it comes from my days as like hazing pledges.
Yeah. All that experience.
Yeah. So I'm good at delegating, but I'm not organized and I'm not good at managing.
But that's the
So
thing that's like you need to stay in your creative zone. So
Right.
it's like
yeah,
now
so
you just have someone to cross all those T's.
yeah, so like Nikki does that stuff, but Nikki's like, I'm not your assistant. So I got an assistant who's kind of helping. Like, I have a stylist that plans outfits. I have a social media
Yeah.
girl that like pulls the trigger on all my posts and stuff and keeps me up with trends. And
Yeah.
so everybody's working together, which is great.
How big's the team now?
Jesse, Nikki, agent, stylist, assistant.
And it's probably gonna be like
social.
double very soon. I can see that.
Are we missing
You're
anyone?
doing so many things.
6? 7 if you include me.
You're a talent.
I'm part of the team.
Yeah, you are.
So yeah, that's great. And then I'm looking at launching a men's swim line with
Which is
2
gonna
friends.
break the internet. So good.
I don't know if it's gonna break the internet.
I feel like it's super aligned too for the
Yeah, like I'm a summer guy on
Yeah.
a summer house wearing a summer bathing suit, and there's a couple competitors that are doing a good job, but there aren't a lot. And I think there's room in the market because, if you ask a guy what bathing suit brand is his go-to, there's like Vilebrequin, which is like $300 plus price point.
Okay.
And then you just have like every brand makes a swimsuit,
Yeah.
but we're just going to specialize in men's bathing suits.
What price point in market do you want to go
I think it's
after?
going to be anywhere from like 100 to 150. So like high quality, elevated branding, but accessible.
Totally. I love that. Someone listening is probably like, he does it all. And you do it all. And I love that because those are my type of people. Like, I think you can do it all, and it's all about how you manage yourself, manage your calendar.
But wait.
Wait, there's more?
There's more.
There's more.
Yeah, so I've been brokering these MCA deals, which are merchant cash advances, helping small businesses find capital outside of traditional bank financing.
Wait, stop. You're
And
going to have a lot of leads from this podcast.
I've been putting investors syndicating money into those companies.
Wow.
And I'm looking at launching a fund with 2 guys who already do this, but we're going to do like an A paper fund. So for really high performing businesses, home services companies, hospitals, etc. So I think that's going to be a big focus once filming wraps, before the show airs. I'll just be fundraising. And
wow.
yeah, I'll be a partner in a fund, which is like an opportunity that doesn't come around very often.
Does manager Nikki know about it?
Yeah, she knows, but it's not 100% set in stone. I'm still kind of grappling with like, this is far outside of everything else that I'm putting my energy into. So just deciding if it makes sense. And I think it does.
I think it makes sense, and you're also you're going to be so good at it.
Yeah, it's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I'll just be doing it for myself. I'm just curious what, you know, what size checks we'll be able to drum up. Like, I know I can put together a lot of smaller
Yeah.
checks, but like, I don't want to put together a $10 million fund of 100K checks. Like, I want to get like $1 to $2 million checks.
And you can, for sure.
Yeah. I know a lot of family offices. It's just, I don't know if they'll invest in the strategy.
Yeah.
I should probably reach out to them before launching the fund.
But you're also like Mr. Jesse, attract anything. So once you do it, it's going to work.
Yeah. I don't like fundraising for strategies that people don't want to invest in. It's only fun when it's working.
But they will, because you're going to be able to sell.
No, listen, not everything that I do works. I don't want to put that out there. I do give it a good effort, but I try a lot of shit, and so it doesn't all work, and that's okay.
And that's a beautiful like mindset to have though about it, because
Yeah.
then you're not attached to anything, and you can keep creating and innovating and find the thing that sticks.
Totally.
So how do you do it all? How do you manage it with having so many moving pieces, also being in Miami, New York, the Hamptons? Do you have like a method to how you approach scheduling and prioritizing all these things and staying disciplined?
Yeah, I just start every Monday off with a call with my team and see what we have like set in stone. And then I just go through a list of things that I want to put into the week and then look out to next week. But I'm disorganized. That is
But so yeah, now you have someone will come in and organize the cal for you.
yeah. So I try to have other people help me is really the answer. I try to focus on like what my actual priorities are.
Yeah.
We just like make sure the social media stuff is going in the background, but that does take a lot of time. Like if I have to film something, my social girl like tells me in the morning. I'm putting up stories throughout the day, and if a podcast is on the calendar, I know that's coming, and then I'm just like, what do I really want to do that's like me playing offense, like all these things that are on my calendar I think of as like defense, and I'm like, where do I have a 2-hour window where I can like be creative, put my phone on do not disturb. I'm actually pretty much always on do not disturb.
I love that,
because my phone can get crazy, and it's just like I want to focus on where I'm spending my time, and I don't want like people pulling me away from that, but they do.
Yeah. How do you, when you are on like one of those like 2-hour blocks where you're like in your mode, what do you do in that time? Like what's for you?
Like I'll work on a song. I will call people that I need to call. I will just walk and talk on the phone for a couple hours. But yeah, it's like it's usually either sitting on my computer, getting stuff done, listening to music, writing music, or calling people.
I love that. I've interviewed like 200 people at this point, and a lot of very successful people do the same habit of like blocking an hour, 2 hours of time, 3 hours if they can, and they do the same thing, like phone on do not disturb, and they could be in flow on a call, on a walk, playing piano. Like it's crazy working on a new, but it's like I think that uninterrupted time is just so important to harness to create greatness.
Yeah, because like I need to decide what's important for me. And if I'm just playing defense in my email inbox all the time, like I could spend 24 hours a day just doing that. But like that's not going to move the needle for me.
Totally. It comes down to like so much self-awareness there too. One thing I want to ask you is, you seem, especially right now, you're in this season of growing your team and growing rapidly. I feel this about you, that you have such a good judge of like people that you like. I feel like you could know right away when you meet someone, like, yes, I would like to figure out how I can work with them, like with your manager, your assistant, and all of that. Do you have anything that you kind of keep in mind that would maybe like serve someone listening who's looking to build out a team to keep it with like A players?
Yeah, my strategy has always been see if there's an initial vibe, see if you think they could do the job, see if they'll do it within your price range. And if those things are yeses, give it a try, make it a non-committal thing, like a month-to-month thing. And if it works, great, you'll grow together. And if it doesn't work, quickly fire them and hire somebody to replace them before you fire them.
Another good piece of advice
Yeah.
right there. It's that, like they say, like, fire fast.
Yeah. Because there's so many unknowns until you actually start working together that it's kind of like, at least for me, I don't like to, it feels like a waste of time to like over interview, because like somebody could present well in an interview like me and then suck at the job. So I just hire
I love
everybody.
that so much. Okay, one thing I really want to go into before we do end is your wellness routine, because you're big into health and wellness. You train with like Kenny Santucci, who's been on the podcast before.
Kenny.
The best. Strong
Yeah.
New York. How did you even connect with Kenny? I would love to know how you found Strong, because I love their approach to fitness.
Yeah. I actually used to watch The Real World, and I just knew that he was like a trainer in New York City. So when I could come up with enough money to pay for a trainer, I hit him up. And we trained together last summer while I was on the show, and I felt like I was looking juicy last summer.
It's all weight training too.
Yeah.
Have you always been into weight training?
Yeah, I've always lifted. I went to University of Miami, so that's what we did, was lift weights. But Kenny got me in tip-top shape quickly last summer. And now I just kind of go and work out with him once a week.
Yeah.
And then I just do my own thing. It changes. Like, I used to work out in the afternoons if I could sneak away after lunch, but right now I'm working out in the mornings. I walk a lot. That's kind of like my cardio.
Yeah.
I get my 10,000 steps plus every day. I have a sauna in my apartment.
Are you big on sauna?
I'm big on sauna.
Yeah, I'm big on sauna. Are you big on cold plunge?
Yeah, but I haven't been able to get like a cold plunge partnership, and I don't really want to buy one.
I can help you guys.
You got a cold plunge plug?
Yeah, there's like a couple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a brand that you like?
No, I
okay. Yeah, we'll talk when we finish.
I have a backyard in Brooklyn, and it would be great.
And that's where you live full time?
Well, I live in Miami most of the year, and then in Brooklyn, May to September.
I want to know two things. So about the sauna, and then is that all morning lineup? Like, do you have these like all in the morning?
No, it's not daily. At the sauna, I squeeze in whenever I can.
What made you a big fan of the sauna?
I think just like being hungover and realizing it was like the sauna cold plunge like really helped me sweat it out and feel good the next day. And then I learned about all the benefits of just doing it when you're not hungover. My best friend Evan is a member at the Standard in Miami Beach, so we just walk over there, sauna cold plunge like 3 days a week.
And you feel amazing.
It's just like
your recovery is so good too.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed. My recovery and my sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but like being like a hyper entrepreneur and having so many things, I find it really hard to wind down and get good sleep. And that's like the one thing that'll help me at night.
Yeah, I sleep like I got $1 billion in the bank. I don't know what it is, but like even when I was broke, I sleep well. Yeah, I'm blessed. I need to sleep like 8-9 hours.
Wow.
I think it's because I'm like a big person, maybe. But I
do a lot in a day.
Yeah.
And you're musicians, I feel like
they sleep a lot.
I don't know. I just feel like you need a lot of sleep.
I didn't know that. Maybe that's why I sleep so much. It's the musician in me.
You're just tired, brain.
Yeah. Yes, I sleep a lot. Sleep's important.
Do you wake up really early, or you like?
No. I sleep till, depends, anywhere from 7:30 to 8:39 on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
I eat as clean as I can. Right now it's meat and fruit, and then I try to be a good boy outside of that. On the weekends I'll pretty much eat whatever.
Would you say it's like the high protein diet and then carbs are obviously really clean? That's helped you like get in the best shape, and training with like Kenny's protocol of the weights?
Yeah. I mean, I always lift weights, don't skip leg day. I'm just like tall, so it's hard for me to put on a lot of muscle mass. And like I can't take steroids because then I would grow cancer cells, and I'm not worth it for me. So yeah, the only way to do it is to eat a lot of protein and lift heavy weights. Right now I'm doing like an animal-based diet. So anything meat, fruit, cottage cheese, dairy, eggs. And that's pretty much what I stick to. I mix in like a little bit of rice, so
Yeah.
I'm not strict with it, but I love rice.
Yeah, do you ever, well, I guess on the weekends you have like your carb, like whatever you want.
Yeah, I pretty much try to like dry out all week and don't eat carbs, and on the weekend I just like
And
puff
then
up
your
and then
body responds so well because when you replenish your glycogen stores, it's like
totally.
you're probably like all vascular and like
Well, last summer I literally treated every week like a bodybuilding competition, and I would
stop,
like not eat
stop.
carbs, and then like 2 days before filming a shirtless, I would eat like rice, and then the day before I would eat rice cakes, and then the day of I would like crush Sour Patch and like
Yeah, I used
actual
to do
candy.
bikini competitions and I did all that.
Yeah.
And then you deplete your water and it's crazy. And I would have cereal as like quick sugar or jam on my
Yeah.
rice cakes, and it's wild what you
It's
can do to
so
your body.
fire. Yeah. But this summer I just don't care as much for some reason. I'm just kind of like content, and I'm seeing someone and she thinks I look great. So like it's just hard to care.
That's a good place to be though, where you just are like enjoying your life.
Yeah, I'm still lifting and eating clean, but
Yeah.
if there's good food, like I'm gonna try it.
Yeah. Oh, you're thriving in every way.
Yeah.
With the partner, just because it's fun. Like, did you like call in a partner just like that? Like, I know a lot of people listening, a lot of females, they have this like vision of someone they would want, and they're calling in that relationship. Did you ever feel like you're like a non-settler? Like you,
Yeah, I'm picky.
yeah. Do you think that it's important for someone listening who's like looking to call in their like partner in a beautiful relationship to just like have a list, if you will, and be super selective until that comes along? Or like, how did you kind of like align yourself with someone who's so perfect for you?
I would always date, and while I was looking for my person, I would date casually.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't date anybody that I thought there was like no chance we would be a good fit for each other, but
Mhm.
I would be like a little less selective to just date and have fun, and I would try not to play anyone. I would never ghost. I'm very transparent with what I was looking for, and if I thought they could be that. So I feel like I have a good relationship with my exes.
I love
And
that. Mhm.
when like an amazing girl came around, it was just kind of like the first day we met each other, it was like
Is it a
felt
guy
it.
thing? Like when you know, like how guys can be so like loving playing the field, then they meet this girl who's like, wait, this one's actually like the only one I want to be with.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, we just started dating.
Well, check back in.
Yeah, but I knew that she was a really high quality human being,
Yeah,
and yeah, I definitely felt it immediately.
I love that. Well, I could talk to you forever. I could ask you so many more things about your life and like the way you are, because you really are. You're so fascinating with your approach and your beautiful way of like approaching life. Because I think
Thank
you
you.
walk and you attract just greatness and opportunity and great things towards you. I know we all have our bad days and things, but you have such a positive like energy and air about you.
Yeah, I didn't even know about people's energies until like people
You
kept
gotta spend
saying to
more
me like,
time in LA,
yeah,
Jeffy.
people were like, you have such great energy, and I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's a Gemini.
yeah, sure, my energy. Now I know what it is, and I can like feel the vibes. But
Yeah.
yeah, you have great energy too. Next podcast is about you.
No, I know people can listen to my solos. I've been doing more podcasts myself, and it's fun to go on the other side.
Yeah,
But I understand what you mean. Like, I always have this problem when I go on podcasts is I'm like, tell me about you.
yeah. Like typically, I would be more inquisitive, but
No.
I know this
not.
podcast episode's about me.
Yeah.
So sorry, I didn't mean. to
No.
be rude.
You should have a podcast. I was saying to Nikki. I was like, I
Yeah.
think you would, but you have a lot. You have a lot of parts.
Yeah. No, I talked about a podcast with West, and he's been so busy. And I've been busy. It's just not a focus, but I would like to someday.
I know. I feel like you would be very good at it.
Yeah. What do you think I should do?
I think you would get a lot of energy and fulfillment from interviewing interesting people.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like a certain niche. I'm just saying, you know how like Rogan does people who are just interesting?
Yeah.
And he goes in on like questions and things that people might not even like think about, and that's why people love him, because he's
Yeah.
got personality like you, and like you don't know what he's gonna say next,
Mm-hmm.
like you. And I think the questions he asks are just so different.
Yeah.
Like you can listen to any episode of Joe Rogan, and you would end up like I've discovered such interesting people through like putting
Yeah.
on something. I feel like you would crush that.
Yeah, that's one idea.
And then your solos with being really positive and upbeat, like your story idea,
Yeah.
long form.
I was thinking about doing like a show for social where I would just meet with regular people.
Like a
and-
series like you see on TikTok.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a TikTok and Reels series
Go
where
around New York.
I go and I find people who, you know, I just go into their house and like they cook dinner for me, and then we go out in their town and party or whatever.
Oh, it's like a full thing.
Yeah,
It's a full day.
it's too big of an idea for like me to produce.
Could
so-
you imagine? That's a lot.
Yeah. Like, first person to finish the song lyric gets to go on a helicopter with me. And then I just go around being like, every step you take. And then,
Then you can start doing your songs only.
yeah.
Like you don't know it.
Oh, that would be narcissistic. Be like, first person to recognize me. Yes.
I feel like all these are great ideas.
Yeah, we'll do something. We just have to do
I
it.
just see
I
it
just don't
so
want to like
much.
be 10 years from now and be like, why did I just not do any of them? Because none of them were
No,
perfect.
not with
like,
you. You're an action taker. You like execute, and then you're like, okay, I'll just pivot.
Yeah, I
That's
just don't want to like waste time on a bad one, but I do want to do one.
Well, you got a team around you keeping you in check. Will keep you organized, and then also tell you.
Yeah. Nikki, if we don't do
Self-work.
this in the next 2 years,
She'll straight up tell you. Nikki's the type of personality who would be like yes or no.
put it in the calendar for 2 years from now that if we haven't started a show that we should do it.
You need to do it. Okay, Jesse, where can the people find you? How can they stay connected with you? What are the best ways to connect?
I'm just Jesse Sauls on Instagram and TikTok. I'm just a boy.
It's a good
Um,
handle. Did you have it for like always?
Yeah, no. I used to be JSauls13, and then I
Why
figured it should
13?
I don't know. I used to like that number. It's not even my favorite though. I figured it should start with my first name. But Jesse Solomon's taken. That would be the natural
Yeah, I think
good fit. I have an Amazon storefront. I don't know how to tell people about it, but I've been doing Amazon lives trying to get my hosting chops up because hosting is something I want to get into.
I love that.
And so check out my Amazon storefront.
What do you
and-
promote? Your favorite things?
Yeah, Jesse's favorite things for summer was the first one, and then it was date night for the second one. So it was like skincare, cologne, clothes, gifts, flowers, all sorts of stuff.
Saunas, cold plunges.
Yeah.
They sell those on Amazon. I don't
Yeah.
do.
So yeah, check out my Amazon. Show Amazon some love. Anything else I should promote?
TikTok?
TikTok's Jesse Sauls also. I have a song called What Would Jesse Solomon
Yeah.
Do? But
Are
like
you on Spotify yet?
yeah, I'm on Spotify. I'll be releasing new music. So look out for new music. Dropping soon. Holiday album
We will
2024.
link it all in the show notes below. But thank you so much, Jesse.
Yes,
Any
thank
parting
you for
words?
having me. No, just stay classy. You guys are a smart audience, so you don't need me to tell you what to do.
Love it. You heard it here.
Thank you.